And a good Monday morning to you on 1480 WHBC. John Bozica along with you as always from 10 to noon. And we have a very exciting show planned today. We're going to cover, all the things that happened over the weekend. We're going to cover the Browns victory a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about the 60 Minutes interview last night with the president as well as Joe Biden. We're also going to talk about some of the masking stuff that's been going on across the country. It was a really exciting Sunday in the terms of that the Browns did win yesterday, and that obviously put us all in a good mood coming into this Monday morning. But first, we are going to be on our live video stream here as we are talking with Joe French this morning. He is the CEO of Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. We're going to talk to him for about 2 segments this morning. Joe, how are you this morning?
I'm good, John. How are you?
Good. I'm doing very well, and I'm really happy to be able to talk with you this morning. I know that we're kind of starting a 4-week segment here with child and adolescent behavioral health. Can you kind of tell me a little bit about what we're going to get into over the next 4 weeks here?
Absolutely. Our world got very changed in March, and the services that we provided definitely saw a change as well. We went quickly to telehealth, and we've also were in the schools, and then we weren't in the schools, and now we're back in the schools. And so I think that, what we're really going to talk about over the next couple of weeks is really what can your listeners do to help promote positive mental health services throughout the entire county, because everybody can do something. And I also think that you're going to hear very much from our experts who are our staff that will share wonderful tips, techniques, ideas to really promote positive mental health.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you guys have seen during this pandemic time? Because I know everyone has seen them, and with kids not going to school, with kids not having some of the normal things, what are the biggest challenges for how you prepare kids, how you help kids get through this time?
Well, there is definitely an interruption to their normal routine, right? So kids that once had an outlet, such as going to sports was interrupted for a while, dance, art things, theater, those kind of things that were their outlet, their own self-care were very much interrupted. And so there's a feeling of isolation, there's a feeling of uncertainty, there's a feeling of just not knowing what tomorrow may bring. And so one of the things that we know about mental health is we got to be able to see a brighter tomorrow. And so that's what our staff do every single day, is try to help our kids see that tomorrow can be brighter, that it can have hope. And so it's really kind of helping kids that might not have otherwise had mental health issues understand that there are still other outlets, that self-care that's so important. And that's what we hope to bring over the next couple of weeks as well, is to just give some ideas of how can you take care of yourself during these very uncertain times.
Have you ever, in your years of helping kids with mental health, with helping kids with coping with these things of suicide and all the different things that we're seeing rise during the pandemic, do you ever remember a time similar to this that you can kind of harken back to use as experience for this, or is this kind of a new animal all in and of itself?
I think it's very much a new animal in all of itself. I do think that, with the introduction of cell phones, personal, the iPhone, all of those kind of things started to help us see that kids are starting to maybe not communicate like they used to. So I think that there was a little bit of that when we started to get more into using our devices as a communication tool. And during that time too, there was a lot of cyberbullying, things like that. But there was a sense of isolation then. But I think this is all very, can I touch you? Can I not touch you? Because there is that absolutely intrinsic need to have a human touch. I mean, it's from birth, right? And so not having that and not feeling like I can really reach out to somebody because I'm not sure really has been different. And I think that that's really what we're seeing is kids not knowing what normal is going to look like. And that's hard. That's hard for even our adults. I mean, if you think about our caregivers, we're in 55 different school buildings across Stark County. And so when you walk into a school building, you're used to being masked up. You got to be careful, social distancing, all of those things. But when you're used to just being able to have this conversation face to face, and now we're not, it is a challenge for our youth to kind of understand that and try to process that.
I was going to say, as Joe French is my guest, he is the CEO of Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. It's interesting. I'm sure that there are kids all across the county saying, why is mommy or daddy using a Zoom to do all of their meetings opposed to meeting face to face? And Joe, you and I would normally be meeting face to face right now, but here we are talking over a video stream online right now. I'm sure that has an effect in all of this too, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And, it's interesting, as I talk to some of my colleagues, they often say, how are you doing, as a leader of an organization? And I said, I am very much an extrovert. That is I get energy from being around people. And so when we're used to feeding off of other people and we're on a Zoom and not everybody puts their camera on, it's hard to kind of read somebody's face or read what they're saying. And so when you already have some kind of doubt anyhow, and then you're not able to kind of get those cues that you were once relying on, it's really difficult. And so communication has been different. And but this is wonderful. When we have meetings here at CNA, a lot of times they're through Zoom, and we say, put on your camera so that we can kind of have a conversation so we can see each other. But I can only imagine for those who are out there and can't be in the crowd, that they're used to getting that energy. I think it's really difficult. And we all kind of get our energy from different sources. But, that's one that always sticks with me, is everybody's like, well, you're an extrovert, so you always want to be around people. And I said, it's very true, but we are people-oriented culture. We like to be around others. And when we're not able to do that, it definitely sends different messages to our brain.
I say the pandemic has been a dream time for most introverts just about everywhere across the country at this point. Joe, what we're going to do here is we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to continue the discussion as we have Joe French with us. He is the CEO of Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion and get into some more of the things that help you, help your kids, and help the community. All of that when we return on WHBC. And we return back in here on 1480 WHBC. John Bozica along with you, and we continue our discussion with Joe French, the CEO of Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. You can tune in, obviously, if you're listening on the station, you can hear us right now, but you can go to our Facebook page, 1480 WHBC. You can go to our Twitter page at 1480 WHBC, and you can also go to our YouTube page, and you can see this interview happening in all of those different places at this time. Now, Joe, one of the things that we didn't get to touch on is all of the services that Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health offers to the community and to kids. Could you name some of those for us that are listening and watching at this time?
Sure. I think that people are very surprised when we talk about the number of services that we have to provide to the community. We're in, like I said, 8 different school districts in 55 different school buildings. So that's our school-based consultation. School-based consultation is just that. If there's a child that is referred to us that needs some temporary services or just somebody to talk to, we're there for them to be able to do that. We also offer here at our Shipley site our trauma-informed day treatment. So these are kids who might not be able to attend in a typical school environment. So they are referred to us, and we provide ongoing mental health services as well as a classroom teacher. And then we also have behavior interventionists here in the schools, or in the school here. We also provide early childhood services. A lot of times with our early childhood services is helping parents understand the importance of routine and consistency, those kind of things. We also offer our transitional and peer programs. Our peer program I'm very proud of. It is a program where the peers have had a lived experience, and so they can talk firsthand about some of their struggles, but also helping our transitional youth find their way in life, which is really important. We also provide mental health to our middle school population. As I said, the transitional program. We also do, which is another surprise to a lot of people, is that we offer psychiatric services. So we call it our medical services. What that means is if a kid needs diagnosed and prescribed a psychotropic drug, we're able to do that. So we have prescribers on staff, and we can absolutely provide that service. And so we're excited about that. Trauma services, let's face it, there's a lot of trauma going on in the world today. And so we have staff that are specialized in trauma care. And then also one of our newer programs is called Dialectical Behavioral Therapy. We call it DBT for short, but those are for kids who have suicide ideation and self-harming. They can be a part of a group and can receive very intensive services, psychological services. So we have a prevention programming. We also have substance use disorder programming. So we run the entire gamut. We like to say we're a full service agency for children from birth to 24. And that's what we do. We specialize in serving children, youth, and young adults. That's our niche. That's who we are.
Where are the locations of Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health? Is there one in every part of the county, or is there a specific place that people have to go?
No, great question. And we have 4 offices located throughout Stark County. So we have an Alliance office. We have one in Belden. If you're familiar with Roosters, it's in that plaza there. And then we're also here in downtown Canton. And then we're also located in the office at Plain Local Schools at Glen Oak High School. We have an office right there in the high school as well. So we have 4 offices. But like I said, a lot of our staff go into the schools, and that's where they're located throughout the day. And then also many of our staff do home visits as well. So they go to the client's home, work with the family, because we know that the family has to be part of the solution.
Joe French is my guest. He is the CEO at Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. Joe, let's say you have a child that you believe may be beyond the point of helping. Is there ever a point where a child reaches that point? And what should a parent do during these tough times if they feel that that is where their kid is headed at this time?
Great question. And I would always say there's always hope. there's always some kind of solution at some point. The thing is that we talk a lot about mental health and the stigma that surrounds mental health. And we absolutely want to be stigma busters and get rid of that, because let's face it, if you had cancer, you would get treated. And so mental health is like no other. It's not different. It is something that needs to be treated. And so what I would say for a parent like that is don't give up hope. A lot of times seems like an endless number of appointments, seeing experts, those kind of things. I would just say don't give up hope, because there is an answer out there. And it's just finding the right expert to kind of help you through that. And one size doesn't fit all. I think that's the other thing that people forget. We have to have a really good working relationship with our therapist. We have to be able to trust them. We have to be able to confide in somebody that, with our deep thoughts. And so that's not an easy thing. And so we can't forget the fact that, it's important to have that outlet. It's important to be able to have that person to be able to talk to on a regular basis and work things out. Our staff help our clients see a different point of view. And I think that that's really important. So again, I would say to that parent, don't give up hope. There's always a solution.
Two last thoughts for you. Joe French is my guest this morning, CEO of Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. When I was younger, I wish I would have understood mental health more. Putting yourself in a child's shoes, what does a child need to realize if they are feeling certain things? Because as I gotten older, I've had panic attacks, I've had all those things. What can a child do to realize, hey, this might not be normal, and I might need to go talk to somebody about this or have this checked out in some way?
I think that's a really good point. And I don't know if but as well as the listeners, but my background's in early childhood education. So I firmly believe everything starts in childhood. And so I believe the most important thing that we can say to kids is that today does not have to dictate tomorrow. That today might look really bad, but there's going to be a brighter tomorrow. So many times our kids don't see that things can change, things can get better. And I think the most important thing that any child can do is let's call it what. So if I'm feeling angry, say I'm angry, or I'm feeling something and I'm not sure what I'm feeling, and have those conversations. And I think the most important thing that I can really stress is every single child needs a trusted adult in their life, be it a parent, a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, a teacher, whomever it might be. They must have a trusted adult in their life to be able to go and say, I'm really feeling crappy today. I'm not sure why. I'm feeling kind of like my heart's beating really fast. That sounds to me like you're anxious. And so that trusted adult can say, let's talk about this. Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me more about that. I think those are key phrases to keep in our arsenal. So if you're talking to somebody and they want to kind of share, just say, tell me more about it. Because the more you talk about it, the better you feel. And the more you've got, okay, I kind of have an idea in my mind that there is a solution, that there is hope. And I think that that's so very important.
Last thought for Joe French this morning, the CEO of Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health, is this. I know that you guys have an event coming up this week. Could you tell our listeners a bit about that event and what that event is going to offer?
Absolutely. And we want to thank WHBC for being one of our partners in this, because it's really, really important. So I have to make sure I get it right, this Wednesday from 4 to 6 here at our Shipley office, which is at 919 2nd Street Northeast here in Canton, and the zip here is 44704. From 4 to 6, we will be doing a job fair. We need wonderful people to join our team and be a difference maker. That's what we think about our staff every day, is that they make a difference. And so we need difference makers to join our team. So if you are looking to make a difference in a child's life, you want to work with young adults, please stop by and see us again this Wednesday at our Shipley office from 4 to 6.
The first of a 9-week segment that we are doing here on 1480 WHBC. I said 4 earlier. I'm going to say 9 now because that's the correct number. But such is life in radio that you make a mistake.
That's right. And, I was going to say, John, and if anybody has any questions, they're welcome to contact me here at the agency. My number here is 330-454-7917. Just ask for me and the staff will get all calls to me if there is a need or if they have any questions. I think the most important thing is, again, we so appreciate this effort because we know these are different times for kids. And everybody has to do their part to make sure that our kids see a brighter tomorrow. So thank you so much for giving us this platform. And we look forward to our 9-week kind of stint with you.
Absolutely. We look forward to it as well. Joe French, the CEO from Child and Adolescent Behavioral Health. Joe, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, John. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, we'll take a break here. We'll come back. Jim Adams from Canton City Health will join us when we return to update the coronavirus and why cases are on the uptick at this point. We'll be right back.